Welcome to the planet Hoth for this very special Junkyard Joust. I'm Aaron Yonda. The cold and the snow are plentiful, but so are the cars that want to compete in this very special joust.
You may dispense with the pleasantries.
I guess Darth is eager to get started. There are 50 Star Wars cars in today's match. We've got 10 teams, but only one of them can win and rule the galaxy today in this Junkyard Joust. Let's take a look at our competitors. I think you might recognize some of these factions. They stole your plans and the Force is on their side. It's the Rebel Rousers. Featuring, of course, Luke Skywalker. Princess Leia, with giant hair buns for fenders. Obi-Wan Kenobi, sponsored by the Birmingham Cardboard Slingers. Han Solo, with his blaster, of course. And Chewie, sponsored by Willful Fiber Art. Get to know the power of the dark side with the Death Stars, featuring Emperor Palpatine.
The Empire will triumph.
Darth Vader, sponsored by Sean and Patrick Hogan. A Stormtrooper, a Snow Trooper, and a Dirty Stormtrooper. Judge them by their size, do you? Well, I wouldn't do that. It's the Dagobah Dazzlers, with Luke in his rebel attire. R2-D2 looking a little worse for wear. R2 is sponsored by Too Cheap For You, Joey Gold. And get ready to complete your training, it's Master Yoda, sponsored by Judy Collins. Even Dagobah itself has a little representation here with the Dagobah Chrysler, sponsored by Hey Steve Productions. And just to round out the team, it's Rolling Thunder, a Hoth-inspired vehicle. Make the jump to light speed with the Super Car Destroyers. Here's a nasty looking team with the Millennium Falcon, the Advanced TIE Fighter, the regular TIE Fighter, the TIE Fighter sponsored by Raygull Radio, the Y-Wing Fighter sponsored by Ellis Wurtenberger, and the X-Wing Fighter. Pod racing, anyone? It's the prequel pals, Justice for Jar Jar. I don't know exactly what Jar Jar needs justice for, but he's certainly welcome to try, with Anakin Skywalker, General Grievous, sponsored by the Aqualord, he has returned. Jar Jar Binks himself, sponsored by AJ's Performance Tuning and Pod Racing, Darth Maul, and a Clone Trooper. Here's a team that probably thinks it knows the way to win, Mandalorian Iron, with the Mandalorian, of course, sponsored by Wayland Enterprises International. Hide your egg pods, it's Baby Yoda. Next up is the Jedi Ahsoka Tano, and a very light 27-gram Boba Fett. You'd think with all that armor he'd be a little bit heavier. And lastly, IG-88, sponsored by Brendan Walsh. Now here's a team that's going to make Bantha Poodoo out of the competition, Diwana Wanga, with Jabba the Hutt, sponsored by Mr. Stratholm. Tusken Raider, sponsored by DEADMAXX's War Machines and Inflatable Furniture. The Wampa, sponsored by Hal Thompson's Hot Seat. There's a new hilarious interview out now on the Blame Society Films YouTube channel. The Dodge Rancor, sponsored by Chome, The Spice Must Flow. And the Fett Transit Supervan, sponsored by Emo Dingo. Here's a team with a whole range of different sized vehicles. You might even call it a Porgusboard, with their fearless leader, Porg, sponsored by Tony's Video Palace. Every night is movie night. BB-8, D.O., Lando Calrissian, and Saw Gerrera. Celebrate Yub Nub with the Soldiers of Endor, featuring C-3PO, sponsored by Swedenborg Smörgåsbord, fueling your day on a sandwich and a dream. The Ewok Buggy, and it's Wicked himself, Princess Leia's back, and the Scout Trooper Van. And last but also first, the First Order of Business, which I assume right now is going to be winning the joust. And maybe they can do it with Captain Phasma, Kylo Ren, the Kylo Rod, Praetorian Guard, sponsored by Judy Collins, and the Sith Trooper. Those are your teams. It's about time to hit the track. If you're new to Junkyard Joust, the way it works is any car that ends the round sideways or upside down is out. Points are awarded for every car that a team has remaining. We go until 7 teams have been completely eliminated. Here's the order. The teams are going to send cars down the track one at a time from each team, and then we cycle back around until all the cars have gone. Starting us off is going to be C-3PO for the Soldiers of Endor. It's a bit snowy on the track, and C-3PO does not quite make it down to the end. Looks like we're going to have to do a little plowing. Let's see if Lando Calrissian can make any headway. Lando plows into the back of C-3PO, literally plows some snow off the track. We're making progress. Praetorian Guard is up next. Let's see if he can get anywhere, and he kind of slides to a halt, stuck in that snow. Luke is going to try to make some headway here. Now, the snow is definitely going to be a factor in today's competition. However, that's a little bit much snow on the track for the cars to get through right now. Luckily, the AT-AT that you see in the background there comes with its own giant snow removal device. And it is going to take care of some of the extra snow on the track, and hopefully we can get these cars moving down to the end of the track. Oh, it looks like all the noise has awakened the Wampa. Time for him to come out of his cave anyway. It's actually his turn to go down the track for Team Diwanawenga. The Wampa for Diwanawenga. Does the Wampa wanna? I don't know what I'm saying anymore. The Wampa collides with Luke and floats him off the track. Lands gently in the snow, a nice soft landing there. Princess Leia for the Rebel Rousers is up now, and she knocks that Wampa right off the track, but he is somewhat safe off to the side, still in this. Stormtrooper's up next for the Death Stars, and he hurtles into the back of that Praetorian Guard, but cannot get him off the track. For once, a Stormtrooper had fairly good aim and actually hit something. And now it's Ahsoka Tano from Mandalorian Iron. Ahsoka's a fast car, pushes the line of cars almost up to the front of the track. They've finally carved their way through that snow. Now it's Darth Maul for the prequel pals. Darth Maul speeds under Ahsoka and sends her flying upside down and completely off the track, upside down in the snow. Probably not a whole lot of chance of recovery from that. That might be our first elimination. Up next is the Y-Wing fighter for the Supercar Destroyers. The Y-Wing knocks out Darth Maul and a Stormtrooper at the same time. That was a devastating hit. The Supercar Destroyers have made quite an impression here to start out this match. Wicket is up for Soldiers of Endor. Wicket slams into the Y-Wing, and unfortunately, Wicket appears to have gone upside down after the impact. The Y-Wing is almost sideways. Normally, I think that would have been a recovery, but the snow is obviously coming into play right now, and that could end up being an elimination. Porg is up next for Smörgåsbord. Porg takes it to the upside-down Stormtrooper just in the middle of the track there, and almost recovers the Stormtrooper, and the Y-Wing starts to make a recovery, and Porg is hidden behind the upside-down carcass of Wicket. Kylo Ren is up next for the First Order of Business. Kylo's first order of business is to collide with the Porg and push him forward a bunch. Not a whole lot happening there, but makes a little space down there at the end of the track. Rolling Thunder's up next for the Dazzlers. A low back on this thing, here it comes, and there it stops. Apparently this car not equipped for the snow, despite the fact that it has Hoth pictured on the vehicle itself. This could be an issue for any cars coming down the track now. They've got that low back there. Let's see what happens when Tusken Raider rams into the back of it. And the Tusken Raider flops off the top of the car and flips over right side up. Those big tires helping him get through this snow, just like they probably help him get through the sand back home. And he has recovered and pushed that car a little bit more forward. Chewbacca is up next. Let's see if Chewbacca's low chin can get under the back of Rolling Thunder. No, it can't. Chewbacca hits the back, skids along the roof of the car, and then slides off, sticks in the snow, and rolls right upside down next to Luke. That could be it for Chewbacca. Now, here's a car appropriate to the location and the weather. It's the Snow Trooper for the Death Stars. The Snow Trooper spanks the back of that Rolling Thunder, pushes him up into Kylo. You can see the car kind of come apart in the middle. It's got apparently a shell it raises up, and the Snow Trooper is perilously perched on the side of the track right there. The Mandalorian is up next for the Mandalorian Iron, of course. Mandalorian knocks that Snow Trooper on his head upside down and almost succeeds in turning Chewbacca back up, but now Chewbacca's even farther off the track. Up now, it's the notorious Jar Jar Binks for the prequel pals. Let's see what Jar Jar can do. Jar Jar sends the Mandalorian off the track upside down. That was a tough hit for the Mandalorian. It looks like Jar Jar continues his trend of annoying everyone by taking out the Mandalorian already in this match. The Millennium Falcon's up for Supercar Destroyers. Let's see if the hyperdrive is working today. And it's working pretty well. He actually seems to take Jar Jar out, puts him sideways. The Snow Trooper is back upright again. And then he's not back upright again. He actually flops back over, and Jar Jar is sideways. Mandalorian's still upside down there on the side. The Ewok buggy's up next for Soldiers of Endor. That buggy looks a little unstable as it goes down the track, and it hits the Millennium Falcon, flips over the top, slides down, and lands in the snow. Probably not in a good position. Up next is D.O. for Smörgåsbord. This is a tiny little car. D.O. can't really do a whole lot. Pushes the snow trooper a little bit more off the track and locks himself into position. And now Captain Phasma for First Order of Business is going to take a crack. Phasma hits D.O., goes underneath a little bit, creates a small disturbance in the force up farther on the track, but not a whole lot changed because of that particular hit. Captain Phasma ultimately inconsequential on this run, just like she was in the movies. The Dagobah Chrysler's up for the Dazzlers. Low back on this thing could be interesting. Oh, a big hit there. Phasma is forced up and on top of the Chrysler. D.O. goes flipping over farther down the track, and Jar Jar gets pushed slightly farther up the hill, still upside down. And now it's Jabba the Hutt up for Diwana Wenga. Huge hit to the back of the Dagobah Chrysler, forces it under a bunch more cars, but he flips off the back of it and turns around completely on the track because of that big hit. We'll see what happens to him when Han Solo takes to the track for the Rebel Rousers. Little chance for vengeance here for Han. Han hits Jabba, unfortunately, knocks him back upright and starts to head upwards on the back of that Chrysler. This is a precarious position for both of them, actually. It could be the Sarlacc pit for either of them at this point, depending on what Darth Vader does when he takes to the track for the Death Stars.
I will destroy the rebels once and for all.
Ooh, it looks like Darth might have underestimated the power of the Force again. Sends Jabba upside down with a big hit, but then flips over himself. Darth may talk a big game, but it's not looking good for him right now. Baby Yoda's up for Mandalorian Iron. Baby Yoda gets tripped up on Darth Vader's carapace lying there on the track, knocks Han Solo farther forward, but also face plants and is sideways, nearly upside down. Not a good position to be in for Baby Yoda. Let's see what General Grievous can get going here for the prequel pals when he hits the track. Grievous slams into the back of everybody on the track there. That Dagobah Chrysler is becoming less of a threat now. It's almost buried amongst all the other cars, and Grievous slots into place pretty nicely. TIE Fighter's up for the Supercar Destroyers. And the TIE Fighter goes underneath Grievous. Could be a perilous position for him. Darth is still upside down, and there's just a big pile forming here on the track. Any car that gets caught up in it is going to have problems escaping. Scout Trooper Van is up next, 70 grams. This is a heavy entry for the Soldiers of Endor. The van knocks Grievous over several cars. The TIE Fighter is pushed up, manages to come back down, and survives that hit, but maybe not Grievous. Next up is Saw Gerrera for Smörgåsbord. This is the heaviest vehicle that we'll see on the track today. Saw Gerrera just mashes into the back of that van, causes all kinds of cars to move, but then unfortunately the force of his own weight pushes him toppling sideways. He's potentially out of this match. The Kylo Rod is up next for First Order of Business. This thing doesn't even quite fit on the track. Might not have any business being on the track being that large. It hits Saw Gerrera and goes right back off the track. Lands on top of Millennium Falcon, but is upright. Good chance he's going to survive this one. Saw Gerrera is still sideways, and now is a big block in the middle of the track. Well, it's Master Yoda up next, and we all know he has a way with large objects when he needs to. Let's see what he does here. He does manage to push Saw off the track a little bit, and turns around to the side, but survives that with a lot of style and grace. Good job, Master Yoda. Fett Transit Super Van is up next, 63 grams for Diwana Wenga. The Transit Super Van pushes into Saw, gets him off the track, moves Yoda up a little bit, but Yoda is not going anywhere. And now the Rebel Rousers are going to send Luke Skywalker down. Looks like Luke is going to reunite with Yoda in just a second here, and he doesn't quite make it, actually. That Fett Super Van is too blocky, and he can't quite get anywhere almost goes under him, but he's not a Jedi yet and he can't quite get underneath that van. Emperor Palpatine is up next. He's got a chance here to try to convert Luke Skywalker over to the dark side. Let's see what he can manage. And he gets under Luke. He might be influencing him to join the dark side right now, or he might just be trying to get him off to the side of the track and out of his way, which I assume would be fine with Luke because he probably wants to join his friends anyway. Emperor, of course, thinks they're just a weakness. Boba Fett is up next for Mandalorians. Ooh, Boba does not care what's going on between the Emperor and Luke right here. He just sends them both packing off of different sides of the track. Luke's upside down, the Emperor is upside down. That was a nasty hit from Boba Fett. A light car, but still packing a punch. Must be that jetpack. Anakin Skywalker is up now for the prequel pals. He must be happy we are in the snow today because I know he hates sand. And Anakin snaps into the back of Boba, pushes Luke almost back upright again. That low front of Anakin not quite able to get under Boba. Advanced TIE Fighter for Supercar Destroyers. Ooh, a nice hit from the TIE Fighter there. Actually pushes Anakin slightly upside down. Could be precarious right there. He should have known that he had the higher ground. And Boba's starting to come off the track. And Leia is up next for Soldiers of Endor. It's a fast car, and it hits the back of the TIE Fighter, but then flips upside down. The TIE Fighter's off the track and into relative safety, but Leia is upside down. Not a good showing for her. BB-8 is up next for Smörgåsbord. This is a tiny car. Let's see what it can do. BB-8 knocks Leia forward just a little bit. Doesn't really do anything else. Not a big surprise there. It's just supposed to be a cute little droid. First order of business is going to send down the Sith Trooper next. Oh, the Sith Trooper just crunches into the back of BB-8 and pushes him straight up on his face. Leia almost has a chance to recover and can't quite do it. Lands upside down right next to Princess Leia, oddly enough. And the wreckage is actually starting to make its way back to the Wampa, who went off the track ages ago. He's starting to get covered up by other cars. R2-D2's up next for the Dazzlers. Ooh, a huge hit there. R2 may be small like BB-8, but he's no BB-8. Look at that. BB-8 gets tossed over the top of the Wampa upside down, and the Sith Trooper just gets booted way off the track. Lands right side up. And here comes a heavy vehicle, the Dodge Rancor for Dawanawanga. A powerful smash, and unfortunately, the Rancor pushes Anakin into his own teammate, the Wampa, who was just minding his own business on the side of the track, and now the Wampa is upside down. Tough break for Dawanawanga. And now the one and only Obi-Wan Kenobi for the Rebel Rousers. Obi-Wan punches into the back of the Rancor, and it looks like Boba Fett might be in trouble there because of it. And now the Death Stars are going to send Dirty Snowtrooper down after Obi-Wan. Ooh, and the Stormtrooper blasts Obi-Wan forward, then goes right underneath him and knocks him upside down. Is he out, or is he now more powerful than we could possibly imagine? I guess we'll find out when IG-88 hits the track for the Mandalorians. IG-88 slams into the back of the Stormtrooper and can't get much going. Almost knocks him off the track. He's just about on the edge, but then he pops back in. So not much happening there. Clone Trooper is up now for the prequel pals. The Clone Trooper smacks into the back of IG-88, pushes him under the Stormtrooper as he starts to make his way under the line of cars. And our final car of round one, it's from the Supercar Destroyers. It's the X-Wing Fighter. X-Wing Fighter can't get underneath the Clone Trooper, surprisingly. Knocks the Dirty Trooper up in the air, but he falls back, and Obi-Wan slides and slides, but cannot recover. That's gonna end round one. Here is the wreckage. It's a big snowy pile of cars. Let's take a look at the aftermath. Despite all his bluster, it looks like the Death Stars are not doing so well right now, with only the Dirty Stormtrooper left, and Mandalorian Iron also only with 1 car left. The Dazzlers and Business are doing real good right now. They only lost 1 car apiece. Looks like Smörgåsbord is in trouble with only Lando Calrissian surviving, and the Rebel Rousers, a big surprise, only Princess Leia surviving on that one. 25 cars eliminated total, and the Supercar Destroyers live up to their name. Not a single one of them destroyed, but they did a lot of destroying. Let's head over to the scoreboard and take a look. Supercar Destroyers, 5 cars, equals 5 points for round 1. Dagobah Dazzlers got 4, and First Order of Business have 4. That's going to put them in the top 3 slots as it stands right now. The running order for round 2 is up. We're going to start out with the Supercar Destroyers this round. They've chosen the Y-Wing Fighter to start us off. Y-Wing Fighter smacks into the snow at the end of the track, and it looks like the track is clear enough to actually get down all the way to the end, so that's a good thing. Kylo Rod's up next for the Business. Kylo Rod plonks into the Y-Wing, but doesn't have a whole lot of power, gets kind of stuck up there on some snow, and just kind of flops off the track a little bit. The Dagobah Dazzler's got to be feeling pretty good right now. They had 4 cars survive that last round, and now they're going to send down the Chrysler, who knocks Kylo into the snow pile. A little bumpy there at the end of the track, but he manages to slot in nicely, and the rounded back of that car could be an obstacle for the next few cars coming down. Tusken Raider's up next. Ooh, and the Raider goes flying off of the back of the Chrysler and tries to almost drive up the side of the hill there a little bit. Drives over Kylo, but then can't quite make it. Falls back and over on top of himself. The prequel pals have Anakin and this clone trooper left. Let's see if he can survive the back of that Chrysler. Ooh, and despite the fact that he's got those big tires, he does not go off the back of the Chrysler. He just pushes forward, almost flips over, but then comes back a little bit off the track. Could be a slightly vulnerable position to be in. Let's see what happens when the Scout Trooper van goes down. This is a heavy vehicle, so be prepared for impact. And it was an impact indeed. Look at that thing go flying up against the snowy wall all the way over Kylo, smacks into it and comes back and actually manages to land upright. Surprising recovery for a vehicle that looks like it's probably pretty top heavy. IG-88 is ready for deployment. IG-88 just plows into the back of that Scout Trooper, pushes him off the track. Heavy van and still manages to get him off of there, but he's still right side up. We have only 1 casualty so far in this round, and it's that Tusken Raider. Dirty Stormtrooper is back. He took out Obi-Wan last time. Let's see if he can get anything going this time. And the Stormtrooper, oh man, that is a tough hit. He pushes IG-88 up and over, but then flips upside down himself. But he also pushed that Scout Trooper over sideways, so that was a great hit, even if he ended up upside down afterwards. The Death Star's only hope of staying in this match are if that Stormtrooper gets knocked back right side up again. And right now, all the hopes of the Rebels are pinned on Princess Leia. She is their only hope. Leia spanks the back of that Stormtrooper, and he stays upside down, but IG-88, amazing recovery, lands right side up after flipping over and landing in a snowdrift. Lando Calrissian, the final hope for the Smörgåsbord. Lando smacks Princess Leia right in the buns and sends her off the track, as well as the Stormtrooper, who is still upside down off to the side. X-Wing Fighter is next. Big collision there, but Lando cannot be swayed from his position. He goes up on the back of the Chrysler and then slowly slides back down onto the track. Good news for Smörgåsbord. And now the Sith Trooper is going to take to the field. And the Trooper goes underneath the X-Wing, pushes him really far up, but can't quite get him over. I think it was actually the wings that stopped him from tipping over. So that worked out to his advantage, being able to clamp onto Lando like that. And the Trooper backs off just a little bit. And now it's time for R2-D2, who had a big turn last round. Let's see if he can do it again. R2 smacks into the back of the Sith Trooper and turns around, facing the other direction, but he is upright. So a successful run for him. Here comes the Heavy Rancor for Dawanawanga. And the Rancor devastates everyone in his path. R2-D2 goes hurling off the edge. The Sith Trooper gets sent up the hill on his side and then upside down. That was a crazy hit. And now here comes Anakin, putting his pod racing skills to use, I assume. Anakin hits the back of the Rancor and pushes Lando probably to his doom. It's not looking good for him. And if he doesn't make it, then the prequel pals are eliminated from this competition. Soldiers of Endor sending down C-3PO. C-3PO, I don't even know what happened there. Oh, I forgot Anakin was on the track. He drove over Anakin, pushes him off to the side, and then unfortunately bounces upside down, and he is eliminated because of that low back of Anakin. Millennium Falcon is up next for the Supercar Destroyers. The Millennium Falcon just hits the Rancor and flips right over. Can't even do anything. Too much weight there, and all the force is projected back into the Falcon. He is probably in trouble there. Praetorian Guard's up now for first order of business. Praetorian Guard actually rights the Millennium Falcon, so somehow the Falcon pulled this out and manages to survive for now. Praetorian Guard there slotted into the track, pretty solid. Now Luke is up for the Dazzlers. Bam, big hit from Luke there. He stayed on target and hit that Praetorian Guard pretty good. Bounces back a little bit, and he's partially off the track, which could leave him in a bad position. We'll see. Fett Transit Supervan is up here, and he's got an opportunity to cause some destruction. Let's see what happens. The Supervan collides. It's a big hit, but unfortunately, all the cars recover nicely. So he was able to get them off the track, but do nothing beyond that. Advanced TIE Fighter is up for the Destroyers. The Advanced TIE Fighter pushes Anakin a little bit, but again, that van now is wedged right behind the Rancor, and that's a pretty solid line. I don't think anyone's going anywhere anytime soon. Could leave the Advanced TIE Fighter in a tough position here when Kylo comes down. Kylo can't go anywhere, hits the back of the TIE Fighter and just pops up a little bit, and then gently slides back down onto the track, and that's that. Master Yoda's up for the Dazzlers. And Yoda takes it to Kylo Ren, pushes him off the track completely, does a masterful flip, almost completely around, and then lands on the TIE Fighter. He really hit Ren with a lot of force, and then I think he probably used the force to do that spin round and land upright. TIE Fighter's up next for the Destroyers. He'll be the final car of this round. And Yoda goes hurling off into the distance after that hit from the TIE Fighter, flipping upside down, but then of course lands right side up, and he is gonna survive this round. Look at that. Yoda strong with the Force. You are not gonna mess with him. And taking a look at the pile, we've got some serious eliminations here. Looks like there is going to be 10 cars eliminated, and it looks like we lost 3 teams. The Death Stars are out of this match. Dagobah lost one, and First Order of Business also lost one. Mandalorian's hanging on. Smörgåsbord is out, and the Soldiers of Endor are out. Prequel Pals and Rebel Rousers are still in it with 1 car apiece, and the Supercar Destroyers actually lost 1 that time. The Falcon did end up getting eliminated. Taking a look at the scoreboards, the Destroyers are at 13 points total. The Dazzlers and Business both tied at 10 points apiece. There are 7 teams remaining, and it's still anybody's match. And just like in the movies, this battle on Hoth is going to continue in the next episode. The remaining cars are going to fight tooth and nail for victory in the Star Wars Junkyard Joust on Hoth. I hope you can join us then, and I hope you consider becoming a patron so I can keep making special stuff like this and continue the regular season. See you soon, and thanks for watching.